Breakthrough Victoria was established to be a global innovation leader.
It's arguably the biggest bet the Victorian Government has ever made.
Breakthrough Victoria is investing $5 million.
We're going to invest up to $10 million.
$100 million university innovation platform.
A $2 billion venture capital fund that uses taxpayers' money to invest in startups and expanding businesses in the hope of making a return.
The government wants this to be sustainable. That's the real key thing, not just to actually support, but to grow the fund and also to deliver that commercial return to the taxpayers of Victoria.
9 out of 10 bets aren't going to work, and you just got to hope that, race 8 at Caulfield comes home for you.
Some see it as a high-risk gamble at a time when Victoria already has the highest debt level of any state at $126 billion and growing.
In this sort of startup space, the vast majority of them fail and you lose your money. It's opaque, it's bizarre. There's a question as to whether it just should be shut down as a bad idea.
My recommendation would be for them to shut it down, repatriate the money back into the Victorian taxpayers' coffers, which is badly needed, and not try and play in a high-risk, very specialised area like venture capital.
Back in 2020, at the height of COVID, when money was cheap due to record low interest rates, the Victorian Government announced a bold new initiative that promised to create 15,700 jobs over 10 years.
An Australian first, it will drive investment in research, innovation and commercial outcomes. The fund will focus on priority sectors such as health, agriculture, food and clean energy.
The fund was the brainchild of the current chairman of Breakthrough Victoria, former Labor Premier John Brumby, who originally proposed a $1 billion fund.
The path to a solution is clear.
One of Breakthrough Victoria's first bets was to invest $30 million of taxpayers' money in epilepsy monitoring company Sear Medical.
There's not a lot of transparency about why that investment was made, how the company is going. There's just sort of reports that it's struggling and job losses and the founder has left, and it just doesn't look good that one of their biggest bets appears to have gone bad.
7:30 can reveal after mass job losses at Sear Medical amid a funding crisis, Breakthrough Victoria has propped up the company with another $4 million. Breakthrough Victoria refused to be interviewed for 7:30, but in a statement said it's working with Sear Medical to get through this period. Treasurer Tim Pallas also declined our request for interview, and there was no sign of him at the usual entrance to Parliament for MPs this morning.
Rihanna Whitson from ABC 7:30. We are waiting for the Treasurer as well, but while we've got you, are you aware that Breakthrough Victoria is putting in another $4 million to Sear Medical?
No.
Is that a good investment?
I don't know enough about it, I'm afraid. Yeah, that's really a matter for the Treasurer.
Do you have confidence in Breakthrough Victoria?
John Brumby is an outstanding chair, and I think it's really important that we continue to invest and play to our strengths in terms of biomedical research and innovation.
Is it time to wind up that fund in the next budget?
Look, again, these matters are for the Treasurer, but I think John Brumby's doing an outstanding job, and I think we've got to play to our strengths.
Well, the Treasurer is Tim Pallas, is obviously the shareholding minister, but John Brumby, former Premier, was Tim Pallas's boss at one point back in the day. He's the chairman, so I would have thought that the chair should be out talking and the Treasurer should be out talking, and the fact that they've battened down the hatches and are refusing to talk sends a message that, it's not a pretty story, and where there's smoke, there's fire.
In the last 3 years, Breakthrough Victoria says it has committed $300 million in 22 companies, 1 fund, 1 grant, and 6 university innovation platforms. Only 17 of the companies are listed on Breakthrough's website, and not all investment amounts have been disclosed.
So I'm Brad Johnson and I'm from Xena Sport.
Xena Sport is another of the fund's investments.
So as you know, we work from home and this is our home office.
Donna Johnson considers herself lucky. After months of trying to find an investor, last year she and her husband, a former AFL footballer, secured a $148,000 investment from Breakthrough Victoria in their bra company.
It was purely just because within our network we were trying to get investment, and people put you onto people, connections, etc.
The Xena vest is made offshore and designed to protect women's breasts during contact sports.
I think for me it just really validated that they believed that there was a need for such a product.
When do you have to start delivering a return for the investment?
So at the moment we're working with them just to strategically work out what we're going to do with the funds, where they're better placed, what's going to help us scale.
So maybe I'll just bring some.
He's going to bring some.
I'll bring some.
Despite Breakthrough Victoria spending public money, it's exempt from freedom of information requests.
It makes no sense that Breakthrough Victoria would be exempt from FOI. I mean, the government might claim there's commercial negotiations with founders, but that's why it's so fraught an area, because it's a very specialist area. You're spending taxpayers' money. If you have to do it in a way where it's got to be secretive and you can't have the normal scrutiny of FOI or transparency with details of your actual specific investments, I don't think the government should be in that space.
The Victorian opposition has also struggled to get answers to its questions about the fund and has referred it to the Auditor-General.
This is public funds. If the government refuses to answer any questions about how they're using that money, what return on investment they are getting, what value for money is this for taxpayers, what benefit is it bringing to the Victorian economy, I think there's serious questions to be answered.
As a VC fund, we give our investors an insight into how our companies are performing. We give a little bit of a taste into highlights and wins they've had, but also transparency into where we have areas of concern. We also like to provide some insight into how we made the investment decisions that we did.
We invest in innovation.
Unlike private funds, Breakthrough Victoria doesn't declare the structure of individual investments, company valuations, or when it will deliver a return on taxpayers' money. According to its annual report, its only KPI is to invest in a set number of companies each year.
I think that all Victorian taxpayers are limited partners, that means investors, in Breakthrough Victoria. So I certainly hope that they can get the same kind of transparency and insight from the VC fund that's investing their future.
Breakthrough Victoria is also dealing with internal upheaval. 3 of its directors have recently called it quits.
What did you think when you first started looking into Breakthrough Victoria?
High-profile Melbourne investor Matt Rockman, who co-founded employment website Seek.com, questions whether the fund has the expertise needed to pick winners.
On the face of it, it looks stacked with academics, bureaucrats and sort of ex-government officials. And if you look at the broader marketplace of venture funds in this country and overseas, America's probably the lead market that created the venture capital industry. That's not the type of talent these firms attract.
Breakthrough Victoria's CEO Grant Dooley is on a $500,000 a year salary. That's more than the Victorian Premier. Breakthrough Victoria's headquarters are inside this city building, and there are concerns about the fund's operating costs. It employs 52 people, including former political staffers and public servants, at a cost of almost $10 million last financial year. It also spent another $1.5 million on consultants.
You've got to question the size of the cost base, the salaries being paid, the size of the team. Again, on the numbers we can see, it seems to be very, very cost heavy for a fund of that size.
There's no signs of any winners so far in terms of what Breakthrough Victoria will do, but it's often a long game, and sometimes it does take 10 years to get a payback. But I would have thought, shut it down now. Who's got 10 years to wait when Victoria's